Hey everyone, this is Nidhika Bahl and I'm super excited to be here with you this Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. to talk on the topic of mastering personal spending. And if you're the average Indian, they say 80% of the Indians and 80% of the people across the globe spend their money. In fact, they live their life from one paycheck to another, which means they don't necessarily have anything extra saved at the end of the month, which means they cannot really go shopping, they cannot really have a social life towards the end of the month because they're struggling and waiting for the next salary to come in. And if the next salary doesn't come in, means they're literally ready to go bankrupt and in debt. So I thought that it would be a great topic to address today, personal spending, because a lot of people struggle as a result of not being able to manage their personal finances. So, talking about a book which was written by this guy called Thomas Stanley. He said in this book, the book is called A Millionaire Next Door. And in this book, Thomas Stanley interviewed the self-made multimillionaires in America. And when he interviewed these people to discover what is the reason that they were able to retire as self-made multimillionaires, he discovered that one of the biggest reasons that they were able to retire as self-made multimillionaires is not because they made a lot of money, but because they managed the money they made very well. And a beautiful word, which of course Einstein has also called as the ninth wonder of the world, is the word compounding. You can never make your money to be rich, but you can definitely compound your money and get rich. And that's what also Tony Robbins talks about in his new book, Money Master the Game. That compounding is a beautiful secret, which most people are aware of it, but they don't use it to their advantage. And, today's talk is a little bit around that. So before I get into the talk, let me address a few things. If you are a salaried person, let me begin by saying you're absolutely lucky because your tax are deducted at source. But if you are a business person, this is the first thing you want to do. You want to break up the money that comes to you into 3 accounts. The first account is for your taxes. The second account is for your business expenses, and the third account is for your home or take home money. Okay, and the reason we say you do that is because if you understand, there is a lot of distraction, lot of temptation available all around you for spending, and that is the reason why most people don't save any money or are struggling even in their old age, working hard because they don't have any retirement funds. Because the secret to being rich and financially free is that you spend less than you make. You heard it right. It's a very simple secret. Spend less than you make. But there is so much distraction around you, always tempting you to buy things. Number 1, advertising. Advertising today is all about making you feel that you work so hard, therefore you deserve X, Y, Z product. Whether you need it, you don't need it, it doesn't matter, but because you work so hard, you deserve a good girlfriend, and therefore you must use my deodorant. Because you work so hard, you deserve to eat this, because you work so hard, you deserve to wear this, and so on and so forth. So there's a whole deservability quotient around your struggles of life, and which tempts a lot of people to go buy things that they don't necessarily need because it makes them feel good about themselves. It makes them feel that I've worked so hard, so I deserve this. I deserve to enjoy this money, and a lot of spending happens. And it's funny because the more money you make, the more the spending goes up. So in some sense, you may be buying a bigger home, a bigger car, and getting more EMIs on your head. So one thing that I want to bring to your notice is that the only thing you deserve is that you deserve to be free mentally from any kind of monetary pressure, which means you deserve to be without an EMI. You deserve to be without a loan. You deserve to be debt free, because that gives you the kind of freedom in your spirit that can allow you to do the things that you absolutely enjoy doing in life, right? So because there are so many distractions, you need to be very, very careful. So advertising is one of them. Number 2 is social media. A lot of times you will notice these days that whether you open your Instagram account, whether it's your Facebook account, somebody is trying to sell you something. You know, whether it is a product, or it's a service, but it's a lot of temptation and a beautiful, a lot of apps coming up with products and trying to say, buy this and buy that, and this is so much discounted, and this offer is only for today. So there's a lot of pressure. And if somebody from your friend circle has bought something from one of these apps, that puts a lot of peer pressure as well, because there is an internal fear we carry these days thanks to social media, which is called the FOMO syndrome, which is fear of missing out. So if you suffer from fear of missing out, chances are that you'll go and spend and buy things that you don't even need. The third syndrome is I don't have. Okay, and that's a beautiful syndrome because it always keeps you in this loop of wanting one thing after another. So what happens, suppose you are a professional photographer, and okay, not even professional, maybe it's your hobby to be shoot a film, or you want to get, so first thing is I need a camera. I don't have a camera, and the whole struggle from that point onwards is how you can get the camera of your dreams. So maybe you go and buy a camera of your dreams on an EMI and you decide to shoot something. Then you realize I don't have the right lens. So I now need to go and get a right lens. And then you go into another loop of buying. Let's say you want to go to a gym and you say, I don't have good sneakers. So you go and buy sneakers. So everything is about, I don't have this, I don't have that. And there's a whole loop of spending you get yourself into even before you go to the actual act of actually clicking a picture, or maybe, going to the gym and actually doing it. And in most cases, people are so tired in this cycle of I don't have and actually buying the things, they never really use them. Most of them are lying in the house in cupboards, never ever opened. In some cases, not even the price tags have been removed, right? So you got to protect yourself from these distraction around you as far as money is concerned. Again, as I said, if you're an individual, you're lucky because your tax is deducted at source. But if you're a business person, you want to ensure that you have 3 bank accounts, okay? So what happens if any check comes in, and it's irrespective of the amount? Let's say even a 10,000 rupee check comes in. All you have to do is, let's say you're assuming you're a 33% tax bracket, 33% should be an automatic swipe into that account and goes into your taxation account. So you have an account where you store all your tax money, so that at the end of the year, you're not struggling, you're not having a heart attack, feeling how the hell am I going to pay for my taxes, and you're definitely not paying interest on tax, because I think that's the worst way of wasting your money. It's a criminal waste if you're paying interest on taxes, right? So you divide that 33%, put it in that account. The other 33% you take as business expenses, which is also a hint that your business expenses should not be more than 33% of the money you make. And within that, your marketing expense should not be more than 10% of your expected revenue, right? So be very, very careful where you're spending your money. And I have 2 golden rules for that. Rule number 1, if there is an expense in your business, it should be made only to generate an income. If you have an expense in your business which does not generate any income for you, stop that expense immediately, okay? So number 1, if an expense in your business is not giving you any income, stop that expense immediately, right? Number 2 rule, if you're incurring any kind of debt, it should only be to create an asset and not a liability, or not a diminishing asset, right? So what does that mean? Very simple. Do not buy a mobile phone, a laptop, a refrigerator, a microwave on your credit card, or, as long as, of course, if you can pay your credit card immediately, that's a different story. But basically, do not take an EMI or a loan to buy these things, because these things depreciate the moment you take them out of the store, right? So you buy stuff, you create a debt, if at all, to buy a home, because it's an appreciable asset, right? So never incur debt unless it's creating an asset for you. Never take on a liability unless it's creating an asset for you. So that's for the business people. Now the 33% that's left, which is your take home, this is what you do with it, okay? Of course, there are a group of people who say, at least let me spend that, Nidhika, and I'll say, by all means, but you can decide. Do you want to play now and pay later, or do you want to pay now and play later? So I believe that it's always nice to be able to play later, because there's less stress. Right now you're young, you can work and you can create the wealth, but later you can relax and enjoy your life and retire rich and free, right? And it doesn't take too many years if you have used compounding smartly. So this is what you do with the money you take home. 50% of the money you take home, you use as expenses for the home. Okay, you heard me right. 50% of the money that you take home, you spend on your home expenses. If at this point in time you're spending more than that, simplify your life. You know, you got to adopt the principle of minimalism. Why? Because you want to take things you absolutely need and not other things, because as I said, you don't deserve the shopping, but you definitely deserve peace of mind and being debt free, right? So make your life simplified. You know, buy things that you can afford, buy less, buy exactly what you absolutely need. Do not waste money. Do not stock things in your cupboard, and definitely don't buy when a sale is on, because you tend to pick up more things than you need just because of the temptation of saving some money, right? So 50% goes there. Now what do you do with the remaining 50%? You divide it literally into equal slots. So the first thing you want to do with that money is you create a retirement fund. Now, what is that for? A percentage of the money that goes home with you, you put it into some kind of an SIP plan. And the reason you do that is because compounding, as I said, you know, is ninth wonder, as Einstein said. It's the best thing in the world. 1 rupee today saved, compounded over years, can lead to a whole lot of income for you, right? So this is what you do. You cut your expenses, put it in an SIP. You cut your taxes, put it in an SIP, right? So just keep increasing that pool that goes into your SIP fund. The second thing you want to do is every single month take a percentage of your take home and put it aside as cash for buying real estate. Real estate is a beautiful investment to increase your wealth, increase your money over time. So take a portion of the money you take home every single month. Imagine 5% of your income every single month you're putting away as cash for real estate. You know, you can make down payments and buy real estate. You know, you won't even have to take too much of a loan. So that is something you can have as a discipline. The third thing you want to do is, of course, award yourself. You know, so take a very small percentage, but a good percentage of your take home and invest it into playing, because you also want to make yourself happy and you don't want to feel guilty about it. So buy something that makes you feel really, really rich. So you are always in that constant vibration of feeling absolutely happy and, you know, indulging in that and knowing and not having any guilt around it, because you know that's the allowed percentage for me to indulge. Okay. Number 4 you want to do is invest in yourself. In today's day and age, if you do not upgrade yourself on a monthly basis, you are going to be redundant in today's market. I'll give you an example. I don't know if you know this, but blockchain is the next big thing that's come up in the world, blockchain technology. And a lot of people in the shipping and the customs industry are going to lose their job. The only way they can, you know, kind of prepare themselves for the future is probably to learn some blockchain technology, right? So you know that we are continuously going towards artificial intelligence. More better solutions are coming up for people and their lives, which means a lot of us will need to keep upgrading ourselves. Imagine, you know, you buy a phone and within 9 months they launch a new phone and you buy that because you don't want to use a redundant phone. Then why would you want to keep a redundant mindset and redundant knowledge? So upgrading yourself on a monthly basis is very important. But how will you do that? Through books, through seminars, through workshops, and therefore you need to have a segregated sum from your take home kept aside for always upgrading yourself, so that you are always fresh, you're always ready to make money in this ever-changing market. Okay? And of course, number 5 is that you must give some for charity, because they say that, you know, what you the more you give, the more you get from the universe, in the giver's gain philosophy, if you really understand that. Give away something from the income you make every single month, you know, to someone from whom you expect absolutely no returns. Absolutely nothing. Just will your heart full-heartedly, you know, a lot of people say, when I have a lot of wealth, I'll give it away. No, do it now. You know, every single month, you know, you take a percentage of your income and you donate it for a good cause, and that'll allow you to attract even more income in your life, because the universe will say, okay, this person has started, they know how to manage their money well, I'm going to give them more to manage. It's very simple. Universe is like a parent to you. If you as a child do not manage the pocket money your parents give you, do you think they want to give you more pocket money to manage? Of course not. Likewise, if you don't show the universe that you know how to manage your funding funding and you're constantly in debt and you're constantly building up debt on your credit card and you're constantly living on two salaries, two paychecks, one on that you get and one on your credit card by cycling your loan every single month, it's not giving you any more because it wants to protect you from harming yourself, right? So sort your finances out, sort your spending out, use some basic principles and tools as I've shared in this video, and you can be well worth on your way to creating massive wealth and retiring financially free. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to share today. I'm glad the network supported us this time so I could actually finish my talk. If you want to understand anything more about personal finance, personal spending, or what does it take to be rich and free, or what kind of a financial freedom number I should have, and how can I create that income for myself using the current job that I have or the current business that I have, you can join me for my 2-day Money Mastery workshop. It's happening on 28th and 29th of July in Bombay at Hotel Suba International. If you go to my website, you're going to get more information on that. You can always write to us in the comment section if you're interested, and we'll get back to you with more information as to how to register for that. And you could be part of this beautiful group who's going to learn how to manage their funding and how to create wealth for themselves, right? So that's all I wanted to share. If any of you have any questions, feel free to ask now. Otherwise, I'm pretty much done. Thank you, Shalina. That's really sweet. And thank you, Navina. Thank you, Tarun, for being online. A lot of you are online, but I'm just calling out the names I can still see. Thank you, Hemal, for being here. Thank you, Roshni. Thank you, everyone, for being here and being, watching this video. If there's any question you'd like to ask around mastering personal spending, please feel free to do that. If not, I will see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. at FB Live with another wonderful topic. Hi, Neetu. Lovely to have you. It's awesome to see so many people being here today. Hi, Sulekha. Thank you for logging in. Awesome. So I don't see any questions coming in, but a lot of you are logged in. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here and supporting me. And it's always wonderful to talk to you guys. It's the best part of my week. And I look forward to connecting with you next Tuesday, same time, 7 p.m. Love you guys.